Aloha, everybody. Ryan Carpenter here with No BS Golf coming to you from P45 Knuckle Down Golf Studio. Aloha. Why? We got the Aloha season, right? Well, okay, so here in Central Georgia, it ain't exactly warm today. In fact, I saw some of them snowflakes. Just when I was dropping off kids, I'll tell you, we left KC. We left KC to get away from that stuff, y'all. What's going on here? So, perfect day. In fact, I saw it yesterday. When I went up to the pub, it was packed. People having fun, hitting balls, playing some golf, drinking some beers, watching some football. It was just beautiful stuff, right? Right now, today, get on there, get your time booked because you're gonna try to do it last minute and say, "Hey, I want to go check that place out." You better get on the books right now, right this minute. Get your time reserved. So that is exactly what it's for. Whether it's dark, whether it's cold, whether it's, for me, too dang hot in the summer because I don't want the snow, but I don't know how y'all survive down here in the middle of this dang summer. It's pretty brutal. Anyhow, whatever it is, thegolfpub.com, my partners in crime. That's right. So, anyways, great day at Waialae Country Club yesterday, watching the boys play, kicking off the golf season with the Tour Pros, right? And as always, the beautiful views are fun. I was, enjoying that all last night. Back in the northern and Midwest areas, you go outside and walk in the snow for a few minutes, and then come back inside and you get to see Hawaii. One of the coolest things of the year. So, anyhow, love what I'm seeing out of there. And saw old Decky do his flying helicopter club thing and hit some lady in the crowd. Craziness. Anyways, don't stand too close now. Just because they're good don't mean they don't mess up. They mess up all the time. You got to watch every shot they hit because they're not all perfect and they're not all great shots every time. Trust me. But there goes Sahith. He just hit a big old hooky do off the left side. If it wasn't for the fence, he'd be in trouble. So there you go. Bingo. Bam. All right. Got a new topic today, throwing it out there. And so this is a real tough one. And I will say this, comments, discussion would be definitely warranted. It's a tough one. So while I have a lot of experience in working with all kinds of players and for a long time, when it comes to a driver, okay, and go get your images up here if you want to search this and see it. I'm gonna write an article. I'll put some stuff up on the old Twitter and the blah blah, all the stuff. But go back and look up, for example, the TaylorMade spoon, and then compare that. And it's easier to do it in person, especially, to today's modern driver, okay? And that's where this discussion really begins. The question I pinned was, is the large-headed driver really good? Well, let me set the stage for this. Yes and no. It's kind of a trick question. There's obvious advances over the years, and there's obvious improvements in what a driver can do when it's hit correctly, right? And that's the big key I want to bring into the conversation today. We're assuming that the technology they put into these dang things is arriving at the ball the way it's supposed to every time. And that's a huge assumption. That's an incorrect assumption. First of all, we know that, right? Because why would anybody need help learning how to hit a ball a little better? Everybody just be out there bashing at 330 and shooting 64s and having fun all day, right? So that's not the case. And so while in a machine that can swing a club perfectly every time, a big old large head compared to a tiny little head, speed equal, impact, everything through the impact interval. Okay, so you're going to hear this. Well, if you're a student of mine, you hear this a lot. Everything going on through the impact interval, all else equal, that big old driver is going to hit it further, better spin rate, you name it. whatever, more accurate, so on and so forth, and blah blah. Yes, there's the yes part, but that's assuming everything is equal, everything through that moment in time, which is not the case. Now, here's the second part of this. This is the part that it's a combination. I've kind of used some different unique players over the years as guinea pigs of sorts. Not told them I was doing this, so it's not like I tricked them. I explained why. We went forward. We made some adjustments based off reality, not a couple of stat numbers flying off a screen just because it says something. And we used more of the swing and the player and the makeup of the player that made sense. And then we started testing. And guess what? I got news for you. 9 times out of 10, when done correctly, not 10 shots, 40 shots in one afternoon, months of testing, okay? More players, on average, hit the ball further with a much shorter golf shaft. Boom. Yeah, I know. What you crazy, Ryan? What you talking about? Look, most people are not 7 foot, 8 foot tall people all of a sudden around the world. Why we had to increase driver length by 5 inches over the last 20 years is freaking absurd. Period. The end. It's BS. It's absolute absurdity. It makes no sense for the dynamics of most people and how they set up to a ball and how they get their core position. Now, again, assuming they're swinging correctly. Now, you want to go out there and stand up off your damn toes and put your butt in the air and your head up high, and John back there's telling you you're looking up. It's crap. You're trying to adjust to the stupid-ass driver that's too long for you. Well, here's the second problem. In conjunction with the length being an issue and it forcing people into bad swing motion and out of posture and all kinds of stuff, the second part comes into play. What is all of a sudden becoming popular here in recent years, especially at the tour level? 9 woods, 7 woods, 5 woods, and now, ding, 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 some magical invention. No, it's not a magical invention. It's a reinvent of the damn wheel is what it is. Mini drivers. Do you know what the hell a mini driver truly is? It already exists. It's called a freaking 3-wood. Today's 3-wood is 3 times the size. Go look it up. TaylorMade tour spoon. 3 times the size of the damn tour spoon. Yet we're calling it a 3-wood. That was a driver back then, basically, more or less, close enough. And that is a mini driver. So all they're doing is they're taking the freaking concept that I'm basically about to go into. A smaller head that's easier to hit and control and not do flippy-do. We're going to get to flippy-do here in a minute. And basically just strengthening the loft on it and calling it a brand new invention. Woo, smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors. It ain't. It's BS. It's freaking advertising is what it is. And so you're going to see these. I saw the PXG ad. I think I saw the TaylorMade ad. All of a sudden, it's the next big thing. And it's nothing new. It's the reason a pitching wedge today was a 9-iron 20 years ago. All they did was change the loft progressively over time. It's a trick, y'all. So, and this all stems from a post. And I think I put it out there already. My Golf Spy, I love that group. And Adam, he started his whole company based off the same premise. His was more about equipment and things, and mine was more about teaching the game of golf. And we both set out on about the same time, to be honest. I just didn't know him back then. He set out to prove, or at least he basically said this: "I'm golf pro. I'm tired of this crap, and I'm gonna teach people what's right and wrong by doing my own independent testing with no bias, meaning." The company's not giving me free stuff. No, I'll purchase it and I'll test it on my own. You won't even know I'm buying it. In fact, they do it secret shopping is how they do a lot of their stuff. So, and he was talking about here the other day that maybe we can hear this. I don't know. If not, go to my Twitter, go to my Facebook.
One of the longest held myths that has never been tested for very specific reasons, but spining and flowing shafts. Like if you go to a high-end fitter place, they're going to try to upsell you for spining and flowing. We have asked every manufacturer we can think of, if there's actually any benefit, and not one has told us that they have run a test and shown any benefit to spining and flowing. And if they did, don't you think that they would put that into their clubs to have an advantage, to have better performing clubs? If there was, they would. We haven't tested anything to see if there's any difference. But at the end of the day, it's a nice selling point. It's a $30,000-$40,000 machine, so they got to make their money back somehow. And at these high-end places to take advantage of golfers, spining and flowing is one of those things that I think completely takes advantage of them. Golfers, they want to get better. And to be honest with you, this is going to hurt a lot of golfers' feelings, but golfers are one of the most gullible people in the world. They'll buy anything to try to get better. And I think that machine plays right into their gullibility, thinking that why not get it? And when you're going to a place like Club Champion or something that is going to upsell you on a bunch of different things, you're like, hey, I'm already spending $1,500 on this upgrade. Might as well spend another whatever on the spining and flowing. But at the end of the day, it's a waste of money in my opinion. It's
Whoa! Seriously, we're now up to $1,500. Look, folks, and I don't even know the super high level details of the spining and flowing and crap. It's probably the same thing as the oscillation rates from back in the day and all the other dang things we've done with shafts over the past 20 years. But the point is, these guys are the experts talking to experts, and they know it exists, and yet they can prove that it basically is a scam. And Adam knows probably better than I do because they're more in deep to this. They built a whole cool company around this whole thing. By far and away, the manufacturers know this, and they take advantage of it constantly. They know that what Adam's basically saying is this: the broad scope. If you take the collection of golf buyers, people buying golf stuff, most are not going to do any real research. Most are not going to do any in-depth. In other words, if y'all coming with me, ready? You're trying to get better. We're going to work on you first because you control the stupid tool, not the tool doing the opposite for you. Then once we know how to control it, like what we were working on last night until dark in the freezing cold, trying to learn these things is important. When you got the control, now we can start talking about how to tweak this, and tweak that, and shaft this, and shaft that, and all these kind of fun things. But nobody's going to test these things with the type of realism needed, especially if you're out of control and inconsistent. That's half the problem right there. Is if you're inconsistent, nobody can answer this question for me. Like he said, well, what are you fitting off of? If you got 10 different shots with 10 different sets of parameters, well, which one are you freaking picking and why? What if that's the only time that player's ever hit it that way and they'll never repeat that ever again? Is that the one you're choosing? And nobody's willing to answer that question yet. And so, they know this, and they know the vast majority are just going to run to a demo day, take 10 swings, get a couple of data points, and then go buy a whole set of clubs. Well, he's taking it to the next level. Now you're talking about the high-enders, the club champions, who basically took the Golf Tech model and just replicated it, and only the fitting aspect. And they're saying, nah, screw your golf swing. Let's just get you a whole bunch of high-tech stuff, and that's going to get you all down the road and happy. And you can do it once. And this is the problem with their model. If they don't truly do their job correctly, and people get 6 months in and they go, well, this crap ain't any better than the crap I had last year, eventually the model's going to fall off. So good luck, club champion. I hope you're doing better. But I can't speak to every club champion location and every fitter, and I'm not trying to say they're the worst company on the planet. I'm trying to tell you this: the golf industry as a whole, especially the corporate level, knows that the buyer doesn't do homework. And if we're doing our job, I'm doing my job correctly. I can tell you that right now, to the best of my ability. I'm not fitting you until I know I can see the same set of data points almost every time. That's what I want to get to first, and then I want to get. Now, if you're playing something from 1962 and it's metal and wood, okay, fine. I understand there's an improvement there. We're talking about apples to apples here, people. If you have clubs 2 years ago And today's stuff introduced this much better than that. No, it's not, first of all. But second of all, I don't want to test it until I know it's the right time to test it in the first place, where we have the data that makes sense. So what he's saying is the vast majority are not going to do proper testing, which means they know it and they can take advantage of it at that specific level. I'm not just saying only club champion. People like that do these kind of high inner, I'm guessing it's an oscillation factor of some type, or it's some kind of a, did this shaft, when the shaft comes out the manufacturer and it says SSSSSSS on every shaft, guess what? I got news for you folks. They all perform differently. Sorry. Shaft technology, while it's cool and fancy, is also terrible at the manufacturing point, because the consistency level and the quality levels are absolutely disgusting. They're terrible. So you have to be careful when it has an, and I'm guessing that's where this spinning and flowing. Maybe we'll go down and have a conversation with Brandon. We'll find this out. Maybe he knows, but we do know that there are some companies that they require. They pick a shaft that's on the market every year for their new drivers, their new fairway woods. They go, you, send me your best. They test them all. They pick the one that's the best that matches the head. That becomes their stock shaft. When they go to the manufacturer and they say, we want this stock shaft made by you, but we're going to put ping on it, better damn well provide us with the proper shafts every time, or we're going to send them right back to you. We're going to shut it down. Done. Bet you didn't know about that. And so it's because of these same issues. Well, what he's saying is there's this new testing going on, and for $1,500 extra dollars above the normal cost of doing business, we're going to spine it and flow it and whatever they do it and blah, blah, blah. They're basically just trying to say we're picking the best true shaft that exists with a testing service that we can provide. Whatever. Fine. I don't mind that to some degree. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a cool thing. What he's saying is he has no proof in the pudding that he knows of that this fancy machine and this fancy process truly nets a result. So go find out for yourself. But I'm going to tell you this. We can get 2-3 different shafts, the same head, same everything else, whatever. And over the course of 2 or 3 months, we can hit enough shots where you can trust me, you'll know for yourself right away if one's better than another. You don't need, now you need time. Now there's the issue. The majority of the industry knows you're not going to put in time. So they're going to take advantage of you because of it. The first thing I say in day one, I can promise you will get better. I can not promise you how much better, because the one thing I don't know is this: how much time are you willing to put into the process? Because this is not a quick thing. It does take time. And if you're not willing to put in the time, then there's no way we can get you better. And most people say, I don't want to put in that kind of time. Okay, fine. Go about your business. Go. Good luck. Thanks for coming in. You have a bunch of great information. The evaluation is important. I don't care if you buy a lesson package or not. Until you know what's going on, you have no chance of getting significant improvement in your golf game. It's not going to happen. Trust me. The only way that could possibly happen, and it's about 1 out of every 1,000 people out there, ready? You all of a sudden magically can play 6 days a week, spend 8 hours a day at a golf course, nothing but golf. And through that repetitive process, you're eventually going to start to kind of figure out some stuff. And you'll attest it a little bit. This is the way Hogan became Hogan. He just went out to the range. He literally took a pad and he went, well, he studied math first. So, no, this is not like you guys. He studied things first. Lots of study. Reading, putting his nose in the book and going, oh, physics. Oh, geometry. Oh, math. Making himself smarter. And then he went to a range. He started saying, if I put my hands here versus there and then I do this, I wonder if what the ball does based off that. And then he sat there for about 3 or 4 straight freaking hours hitting balls till he could get enough data points to go, nope, that didn't work. Back to the drawing board. So he's out there hitting balls terrible for 3 hours just to try to figure out what the hell happens when he changed stuff. How did he come up with all this magical information in his book? The dude put in the time and the effort. So the industry knows you're not going to do it, and they take advantage of it nonstop. And this is just one example. And so going back to the big driver head, okay, here's the thing. From a teaching standpoint alone, Go look up the Tiger and Horvat YouTube recently here. He was getting a lesson from Tiger is what it was all about. And I know it was to promote his brand. That's fine, whatever. The point is, there were some amazing little tidbits in there. And one of which, Tiger said, here, hold on, I got my own tee here. You get rid of that thing and tee about this 9 inches long off the ground. He said, no, stop that. Big-headed driver. And he put his own tee. He said, that's where you're supposed to play it. And he went, what? That's way too low. And Tiger said, no, that's correct. Now, I know, I see it all the time. People out there on the range literally got like these 9-foot tall damn tees. You know what I'm saying. These huge, long-ass tees that you could put a driver completely underneath the ball. And people wonder why they sky high it and skull it up in the air. It's too high. Not only that, but then you get all this crap about hitting up on the damn ball as well, which I can't even begin to go into. That is a whole nother story. Let's put it this way. While a mathematical data point system like TrackMan can indicate that there is a 1 degree up of blah, blah, they're not staring the damn club up in the air trying to hit the freaking golf ball. That's not what's going on. But everybody out there hearing this information and not understanding what the hell they're talking about, and this is why drivers are not good for most people. Too far up on a tee, trying to hit up, flip it in the air, and if you start to see it on camera and I show you what's going on, you're going to go, damn it, what the hell? And that's the ball game, folks. These drivers, these tees, this idea of this mythical hit it up in the air thingy is ruining golfers. Now, how do I prove that? Okay, well, I can't, but here's what I can tell you. I'm estimating because I don't even know anymore. I can't keep track of this. Literally, I've at least evaluated probably 40,000 amateur golf swings. We used to do all this stuff in Golf Tech with these Tour Pro events and all these tournaments, and we'd download swings and we'd look at them and send them back information. I've literally evaluated like 40,000, maybe 50,000 amateur golf swings, and almost every single one of them have the same set of typical maneuvers going on. A flippy do is what we call it. It's based off typical delivery from a steep path. Ball game over. Like, I don't even really need to see much more than that, to be honest. But the point is, I can't prove it, but I will say this. The invent of the bigger old driver head. So again, tour spoon, today's driver. I mean, it's like one's that big, one this big, and it's so dramatically different that guess what's all of a sudden popping on the market? Mini driver. Why? Because it's easier to hit. It's easier to find. It's easier to go down and find it and get it centered and get the production. Most people are going to hit it actually better than a damn driver. Yeah, I'm predicting that going forward. And it's not a surprise because most players that when we get everything kind of lined up properly, fit properly right now, most people hit 3-woods better than the driver anyways. Now it's assuming no more flippy do. You know, we got a good golf swing going. So why is that? The driver at its current stage, if it's not learned how to hit it like them, who's this? Mr. Palmer, Mr. Hall on the leaderboard, Cole, McCarthy. This is a handful of people that have learned and figured it out. That's why they get the most ridiculous result. 307, a 2-yard drive. Guess what? That's not the average. That was one drive, okay, first of all. But they've figured it out. They've spent the time to figure it out. They've adjusted over time. They've learned and adapted to these new tools to get the benefit out of them. Most amateurs have not. And while, yes, if we take an amateur and we take a driver from 14 years ago and compare it to today's technology, is he going to get an amazing, better results? Absolutely. That's a scenario where that probably would exist. If you take today's driver and you basically compare it to one from about 2 years ago and you don't change nothing in it whatsoever, no fancy shafts and all, maybe the fancy shaft could help. That's possible. I'm not saying it can, but the reality is it's probably not much different because there ain't much changing. There's not that much that they can do. So what can they do? Reinvent the wheel. Oh, look at my club. It's a mini driver. No, it's a driver from about 20 years ago. Instead of going all the way back to a driver from, 35 years ago, the one I started with, well, maybe even further, 45 dang years ago now. Whew, don't get old, folks. And the 45-year-old driver, the 35-year-old driver, the 20 and the 15. So the progressive has gone off the deep end. And it's just out of control. So it's something I want to dive into more. It's something I'm going to write some things and do some things. And I want you to come in. I want you to get a realistic understanding of what's going on in your golf swing. I want you to consider that the fact that maybe one of the things, I hear this all the time. I don't know. I hit kind of these pretty, but my driver is so much more out of control than anything else. Now, part of that is, yes, the physics and the math. Less loft, longer driver, blah, 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 versus more loft, shorter. Yes, that's always good. It doesn't matter who it is. All the way up to tour bro, all the way down to bad player. The dispersions are going to be extraordinarily different. However, we've gotten to the point where there's misinformation, ideas out there, stupid tees made to be this damn long, and this mythical idea that you flipping the club up into the damn ball is going to make it go 9 miles further. Absolute garbage. So, anyways, a lot of stuff that came across all in one point. And it was just amazing how it all lines up. And I've been talking about this for at least 15 years now, and we're still going down the same path. And I do not understand that. It blows me away. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and leave this out. Comment, like, subscribe, share. Please go to my Google profile and leave me some, information there. The 5 little dots. That's the key, if you would. Twitter at P4R5KDG, Facebook, the same old thing. P45 Knuckle Down Golf. Look, the entire pursuit of my entire teaching career has been based off this. No more BS. That's what I'm doing every day. The players I'm working with right now are getting a massive amount of learning every day, every time we meet. And it's important because they need to know these things and they need to understand where we're going with their journey on their way to better golf. Just like last night, the freezing cold. That was our meeting time. We made the best of it. I don't care if it's cold, raining, lightning's about the only thing I'm not going to go outside and do. Outside of that, you want to meet, you want to work on this, we're going to do this. We're going to get the job done. So in order to do that, set up your evaluation lesson. That's the first key. Like I said, folks, even if you don't get a lesson package, you have to know that information before you're going to have a chance of making any realistic long-term improvement. And it gets you set up in the right direction, even if you don't follow through with all the rest. And this is just one part. This is just one tiny part of what I'm talking about today as to why that evaluation lesson is so important. It's just part of the equation that could be one of the main reasons why you're messing up and things are going on. So a little long today, don't care. For everybody that made it this far, thank you for listening. And as always, like I said, like, subscribe, share, appreciate it. Take care. Ryan Carpenter. Aloha.